Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jonathan Vertsonis. Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel where in today's video, I wanted to talk a bit about interviews. Okay, obviously I am a recruiter, I am a career coach. I've been in that transition of being a university student entering the full-time world. I've gone through the whole interview recruitment process. I am a recruiter as well now. I coach people on interviews. So I've seen it from all different angles. And I wanted to talk about a couple of points today about what you are probably not realizing about job interviews that will hopefully change your mentality moving forward. Okay. So first point is that it is literally an equal playing field once you're in the phone screen section. I think I've put it past the phone screen section, but really from the phone screen section as well. Okay. And what I mean by this is that this is going to shock you guys, but from a technical perspective, 9 times out of 10, when we give you a phone screen to see what you're looking for and everything like that, 9 times out of 10, you already fit the bill for being hired. Like, technically speaking, like when we look at your CV, we look at you and think this guy has enough to do the job, okay? Or you have enough to pique our interest to have another conversation to see if you are worthy for the job, okay? So at that point in time, all right, once you're in the phone screen section, yes, of course, you've got better candidates, you've got stronger leads and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you've all been selected for your own reasons to be phone screened, which means looking at it from a field, you've all got the same probability to go through, okay? I think where a lot of candidates go wrong is when they're going in the job interview process, they sometimes think, oh, I'm not good enough of a candidate to get this job and stuff like that. Don't worry about the competition. Worry about yourself and dealing with the recruiter and the person in front of you. And I promise you, when you guys are having that one-to-one conversation, okay, looking at your resume, you have done enough to be that guy for the job. Okay, as a recruiter myself, and I know a lot of recruiters, and I'm pretty sure they can all agree with me when I say this. Okay, we have never done a screening call and just said, oh, I'm going to waste some time here. Okay, everybody that we have screened has been intentional and been purposeful. Okay, at the end of the day, it's because we want to be able to see if this candidate now if the candidate now presents as the perfect, reliable candidate, and if the candidate can provide solutions to our current problems. That's where again, I guess the whole filtering out comes in of a good candidate versus a good, or a smart individual. But breaking it down further, it just comes down to the fact of when you guys are coming through the screening section, all of you come from an equal playing field. At that point in time, your background has done enough to represent as an ideal candidate for the person to do the job. Okay, so don't go ever thinking, it's out of your league or it's out of your field. If you've been called, it's on to you from that point to screw it up. I promise you. We've put you on that high ground. We think that you are ready to be that man for the job based on looking at your CV. It's up to you now to either show us that you are the reliable, predictable candidate that we know is the solution to our problems, or you're going to say things are going to filter you out as you go on from there. Okay? So changing that dynamic is a really, really important note, guys. And I hope you guys can now think about that more consciously moving forward. Okay? Secondly, is one story doesn't sell you. Okay? This is something that I think a lot of candidates go wrong with, and it's something that I always try to fix when I'm coaching my own clients, is when you're talking to somebody in an interview, like, and I ask you a situational story or a scenario story, okay? And I ask you tell me about a time that you did X, Y, and Z, okay? I'm not going to hire you because you did one good thing once, okay? The hiring manager isn't going to look at you and fight with the CEO and say, we need to hire this guy because he did one great thing 3 years ago, all right? No one's doing that, okay? We hire the philosophy. We hire the mindset, okay? That's why when you approach these situational questions, guys, you need to go in more detail about how you actually approach the situation, or what your philosophy is behind it, or what your reasoning behind what you do, okay? And then give an example. Nothing wrong with that. But don't treat that question, or don't treat these types of things as something to be like, this is my selling point. Look at me. I did this one great thing once. Please hire me, okay? No one's going to do that. All right. So make sure that when you're telling these stories, it doesn't come off as like a fluke one-off thing. Take the step back, take the extra 30 seconds to explain your philosophy, and then tell them about a time when you did it, and then deliver it. Okay. Therefore, as a hiring manager and as a recruiter, I know that when I'm working with you, I know that if I put you in 100 different situations, you're going to have the exact same approach, rather than every situation you're just going to kind of wing it. You know what I mean? Think about that from a recruiter's point of view. Which one seems more predictable? Which one seems like more of a safer hire? You know what I mean? And that goes into my third and final point. You need to think in the POV of the recruiter, okay? So everything that you give me, you need to think about, is this selling me or not? Okay, is it giving me enough to think if you are the right or wrong candidate? This is where a lot of candidates go wrong. Okay, you guys will tell genuinely. I reckon in interviews, candidates give maybe 30% of what's actually in their brain when they tell a story or when they give us a detail about themselves. A lot of the time, you forget that the minor details that will go a long way, you expect us to read your mind on. So, for example, what I mean by this is that when I ask you to tell me a bit about yourself or what you're looking for, if you tell me, oh, I'm looking for something in marketing, okay, great, you want to do marketing. What type of marketing? You know what I mean? But you may actually know deep down where you want to specialize, you're just not mentioning it, okay? When you're talking to recruiters, you need to be as specific as possible. And by being specific, you need to come across as the predictable, reliable hire. So everything you tell me as the recruiter, I need to think, are you showing me that you're a solution to our problems, or are you just giving me information? Okay? So that's what I mean by talking in the minds or thinking in the POV of the recruiter. So every detail you give me, and it's something I want you guys to like consciously practice now when you think about your interview preparation, is everything that you tell me, just think, am I moving towards like showing that I'm a solution? Am I moving towards showing him that I'm the reliable guy and that he knows what he's going to get with me? Or am I just telling him things that at the end of the day, he's going to be no better off knowing if I'm the right fit or not? Okay? And these are the ways, guys, that you will stand out a lot more, because that's all recruitment is it's literally, in a way, it's like sales at the end of the day. You know what I mean? In sales, you don't, what's it called? You don't just start listing things about how good you are to that person. You ask questions, you understand, you know, what they're looking for, you understand what they're prioritizing, and then before you know it, you're able to cater the solution. You're able to sell a lot clearer because you understand what these people are genuinely wanting. Okay, so you're selling to the need, you're selling your biggest solution to their biggest problem. Okay, at the end of the day, if you're a personal trainer, for example, and someone comes to you and says, I want to get a six-pack in 6 weeks, you're not going to sell to him a program on how to grow his shoulders. Do you know what I mean? This is the exact same thing now with recruitment. Okay, you have your product. Okay, your product is your skill set. Okay, your product may have 10 features. Okay, but the client that you're speaking to, the customer that you're speaking to, may only need may only have two main problems, and those 10 features, you may only need to focus on 2 of them. It's the exact same thing with how you're going to view yourself when you're going into job interviews. Okay, you go into job interviews, you have your product. Okay, meaning your skill set. You may be good at 10 things, but ultimately by reading the job description, you don't even have to ask that many questions like in a sales call. You've already got the answers there in the job description. The job description may only be prioritizing 2 or 3 of those things that you are really good at. So instead of telling stories about the other 7 or 8 things that are irrelevant, focus on what's important and show that you're providing solutions in that regard, and giving them that feeling that, you know, you are going to be the guy that when they hire you, they know what they're going to get, and not somebody who's just going to leave in 3 months' time. Okay? I really hope you guys got some value from this video, and I also hope as well this point made sense here about it being an equal field pass the screening call, because I mean it, guys, on paper, resume wise, yes, some resumes may be better than others, okay? But at that point in time, you are genuinely all equal. You all have the ability to work the job. There could be a really well academic person, okay? He may have the exact same fitted background as to the ideal candidate, but he may not be used to certain things. He may want different things moving forward. You know what I mean? His priorities may be lying elsewhere. Okay, so again, he'll be filtering that out as he goes. But at that point in time, it doesn't matter how good or bad you think your background is. If you have been selected for the screening call, you have the potential to get the job. I promise you. It is on you from there to then come across as more of a risky hire to be pushed away. Okay? I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you guys did and you'd like to learn more from me, feel free to click the links below in my bio. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.